Look, ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know, this past Monday was not only the national championship, but it was also Black Monday. A number of head coaches got fired, and we can start right here in the nation's capital. Ron Rivera, after 4 years, 4 unfortunately unsuccessful years, we got one playoff berth. He was fired, relieved of his duties today. Also, Martin Mayhew was let go as well. What do you think about this, man? Where do you think, what direction you think they're going to go in?
I think they're gonna. I think this was the right call. Yeah, he's had the playoff, one playoff appearance, but I mean, the losing seasons, the trading away, Montez Sweat, and Chase Young. I think that was a clear sign. The linebackers, they got traded away, so it was just a dismal disarray from the beginning, I think.
Yeah, and I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. For most of his tenure, with the exception of this year, he was under Dan Snyder. And I mean, obviously, we know how crazy that is, and the drafts have not been good. But I think, to your point, this guy was a linebacker when he played. Right. And we were not, he never got us a decent linebacker. Even when he was at Carolina, he had Luke Kuechly. We didn't have anybody at linebacker to that caliber, and we never signed a guy that was at that caliber. And it just baffled me. And just like you were saying, his personnel, the guys that he brought in, they just didn't, they weren't dominant guys. They weren't guys that everybody was clamoring for. They were guys that needed a job, essentially.
Yeah. Scott Turner, I liked him in the first maybe 2 years, but when he got fired, I felt like the offense struggled. And when they switched to Sam Howell, it wasn't a bad move, but it wasn't a move that they were confident. I could tell. They were just like, well, he was a third string a year ago. We'll give him a shot. And it didn't work out. So that's kind of,
Yeah. And they knew, I mean, let's be honest, they knew that they didn't have a great offensive line. The players that they signed, Andrew Wiley and Nick Gates, weren't great linemen, and they didn't obviously didn't work in the system. So honestly, it almost seems like it was a throwaway year, and they were just kind of saying, "Here's Sam, just throw him out there." I mean, if it was going to be like this, they should have just put in Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah, they should have. And then they brought in Carson Wentz. What were they thinking?
That was When they brought him in last year, I was like, what? And you gave him all that money too? Like, are you serious? Yeah. So,
I'd say the best was Alex Smith, maybe, but that was a ruined career as well. The way he came back though for you guys and led y'all to the playoffs, I mean.
But that type of stuff is the type of stuff that reminds me of the Rivera era, where it's like you have this guy that's literally on one leg, comes in, he beats the undefeated Steelers that year, and somehow, Rivera leads us to the playoffs with the no-name quarterbacks and everything like that. And it's exciting. That was great. Like, we started that season 1-7, and then all of a sudden we're rushing to the playoffs. Chase Young gets the Rookie of the Year. Right. But at the same time, it's like it's fool's gold. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because it wasn't realistic. We saw what happened. We actually had a tough schedule the following year.
All right. And Fitzpatrick, too. I don't think that was.
He played like a quarter for us. Not a fan of that guy. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Yeah.
Straight up.
How do you feel? No, I'm going to ask you. How do you feel about where they're going to go moving forward?
Well, offensive right now,
defensive mind. What do you think?
I think offensive minded. I think personally. I mean, let's be honest. Ron Rivera was a defensive mind. He brought in his guy Jack Del Rio, both defensive minded, and yet our defenses were pretty poor. You know what I mean? We struggled. So I think we need to go to a younger, fresher guy. Obviously, been hearing who the offensive coordinator for the Lions. I've been hearing his name, Bobby Slowick. I've heard his name come out there. I want somebody that's going to be young, that's going to be ready to work with this offense and put some points on the board. You know, we average about 18 and 19 points a game. Like, honestly, even
Yeah,
at
that
our
ain't
best this year, we scored 30 plus, I think, twice.
gonna.
You know,
Yeah.
we need to put points up.
And especially people in your division, you know, the Eagles are now good and the Cowboys are now good.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be in that contending, you know, category.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
So, yeah.
So we'll see. Yeah, we'll see what they do. I mean, obviously, what's her name? Josh Harris he's eager to get somebody new in here. So we'll see who he brings in. But I'm eager to see what direction he goes in.
Mm-hmm.
Man. So